Can clothing tell you much about a person?
No, I don't think the clothing of a person tells much about a person except only how much fashion conscious he or she really is. Besides, I never really feel comfortable with judging a person based on his or her clothing. However, sometimes, the clothing of a person provides a special clue to what a person does for his or her job. For example, a person with work boots and dirty trousers would most likely tell us that he or she works in the farms or he works in construction.
Why do some companies ask their staff to wear uniforms?
Companies generally ask their staffs to wear uniforms mainly because they want to ensure uniformity across all levels of their staffs. This is done either to help employees identify with their companies or to boost morale at all levels of their staffs. Besides, some companies want their employees to be easily recognizable by customers, for example, employees in a restaurant, and therefore ask the staffs to wear uniforms during office hours.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of having uniforms at work?
The main advantage is that it helps reduce the psychological and ego gap between the high-level employees and those of the lower levels because they all wear the same kind of dress. Secondly, it helps promote the company brand, especially when wearing the uniforms outside of the work. The disadvantage of wearing uniforms at work is that it limits the self-expression of the employees as they can't seem to wear what they like.
When do people wear traditional clothing in your country?
It all depends on the moods of the people involved as well as the weather. However, generally speaking, people in my country like to wear traditional clothing during religious festivals and ceremonies and wedding ceremonies. Many people also choose to wear traditional clothing during New Year celebration, different from the English New Year calendar.
How have clothes fashions changed in your country over the last few decades?
Clothing styles and fashions have significantly changed in our country over the last few decades. In fact, today we can see that even a 60-year-old person is wearing blue jeans and t-shirt, which was almost impossible to imagine before a few decades. Besides, there are many more choices of clothing fabrics today than what it used to before a few decades. Anyway, these changes are not unexpected because the clothing companies are coming up with newer and newer fashions.
What is the difference between clothes that young people and old people like to wear?
As far as I can see, today there is a very small difference, if any at all, between what young people and old people like to wear. However, it is not unusual to see some old people still are choosing to wear traditional clothing most of the time while young people have no interest in wearing them whatsoever. Besides, both the young and old people today want more from their lives, and therefore, it is only natural that both generations would want to bring some styles and colors in their lives by wearing dresses that are trendy and fashionable.